What's good, y'all? Welcome back to KEEM Vlogs, and today we're going to be talking about Leica Looks and the two that I used. But before we go through that, let's talk about Leica Look and the Leica Look. So for me, the Leica Look is that micro contrast that Leica renders. And Leica Looks are basically, if you know from Fuji, to have film simulations, it's basically the same thing. It's a preset. It's called Leica Look. So on the Leica Q3, Q343, SL3, you're able to download this in the app and also send it to your camera so you can shoot straight with these Leica Look. Just kind of like how it is with Fuji. You're able to control a little bit of it with contrast, saturation, and highlights and shadows through basically the standard when you are doing film settings or the JPEG settings on your Leica Q3 camera, just like with mine's. And you could also mess with the settings with the white balance, but you know, for Q3s, Q343 and SL3, you're not able to do white balance shift just yet. Hopefully they push that out, because I know on the M11 they do. But talking about the M, you are only able to put this presets or the Leica Looks after the fact that you shoot with the JPEG. So you're not able to download this on the camera. And it's because I believe they're still using the Maestro 3 on the M11, and then on the Q3s they are using the Maestro 4. And so when I'm using my M, I do shoot JPEG, and then after that I'm able to add any of the Leica Looks. So there's a plethora of them right now. So they just came out recently with the silver. I haven't tested that out yet, but I will be very soon. So this time we're only going to be talking about the ones that I fully know, because I have shot with these Leica Looks for a couple of months now, and I also did it in my travel. So first, let's talk about brass. So this is the very first Leica Look that I actually went for and used for a while. I used this when I went to travel down in San Diego. I used this when I traveled down to the UK, to Amsterdam, and also to Belgium. So I have a lot of experience with this Leica Look. So let's go over the characteristic of this. So it is a very warm Leica Look. So I would suggest using this on very sunny days. It's perfect for that, especially when the scene is green and also the blue sky as well. But the tricky thing with this is you kind of have to overexpose a bit. So you get that film look by overexposing. You're basically blowing out your highlights a little bit. It's because if you do underexpose one bit with this Leica Look, the whole image would just turn heavy magenta. And I don't know why it's rendering it that way. Because it is a very warm Leica Look, that the tint on the magenta is so heavy. So indoors, I do not suggest this. If you are going to be taking photos of your friends and family, please do not use this brass Leica Look, because the skin tones on these is horrible. I would not use it. I would basically shoot RAW or JPEGs if you're going to take photos of your family and friends if they ask you during your travel, which I do use my Q3 mainly for my travels. And that is why I use Leica Looks and I shoot JPEG, is because of that, for that reason. And for brass, I found that the greens really excel on this. So they up the saturation on the greens on this. I love it. Looks pleasing to me. And more of the colors really do pop with this Leica Look, even the reds as well. So I did shoot with it even indoors. So I went to a museum, if I remember correct. Well, I did go to a museum when I was out there in Amsterdam, and I used this Leica Look as well. And the ones that I'm showing you on the screen throughout this whole video, none of them are edited. I didn't fix any post in Lightroom, which I do with these JPEGs. I did find that with brass, that the JPEGs, when you are trying to fix the white balance, we all know this about JPEGs and RAW. That's why a lot of people shoot with RAW, because the white balance, you are able to fix it in RAW. With JPEGs, it's a little bit trickier. It's even worse with the brass, because it's heavily tinted, like I said, with magenta, and it's very warm. That is just don't do it with the white balance. You could do it just a little bit, but the file would you just mess it all up with the JPEG. I've tried this. You could try it for yourself if you want to, but I do not suggest doing that. But some of the photos actually came out pretty clean that I shot in a well-lit indoor room when I was out in the museum. But if it's just regular lighting, Just, you know, like light bulbs and all that, I wouldn't do it. The indoor that I was talking about had sun beaming through it, and it looks pretty nice as well. The colors itself did look a little bit pleasing. Some look a bit muted as well. But overall, the brass Leica Look I did like in the very beginning until I started using Chrome. So with Chrome, I did hear that this is basically the Leica Chrome is basically their classic Chrome for the Leica system. But at first when I did shoot with it, it is a bit muted, but it looks a lot digital. And my photography, my look that I like is that filmic, dreamy, nostalgic look. And when I'm doing my travel photography or my everyday documentary photos, urban photography, whatever. But I do like having that look. So with Chrome, I wasn't getting that in the beginning when I did shoot with it for one day, but I decided to give it a try, and I went heavily into the white balance at 6500K. And also the thing that I kind of like with this Leica Look is the lifted blacks. So we all know that in Fuji, you're not able to do this. So having this already built in camera with this Chrome, it drawn me to that, to keep shooting with it and keep trying it out and give it a chance. And I started messing a little bit with the saturation, with the shadows, and I kind of got like the look that I wanted. And I even made this called KEEM's Chrome. I put it up in the screen right now. And this is basically like a Leica Look recipe that I put in my camera, and I shoot with that now religiously with my Leica Q3. I did have a lot of practice with this Leica Look. When I went back to Europe, in France, Italy, Vatican, of course, and also to Egypt, I shot exclusively just with this KEEM's Chrome or the Leica Look Chrome JPEG. And I find that even editing with this JPEG is actually pretty forgiving, more so than the brass. I wouldn't say it's as good as the JPEGs, like the GFX JPEGs that I'm used to editing, but it does its job for what it is. You could fix the white balance pretty good with the Leica Chrome. Also, the skin tones on this is actually pretty good as well. It's more so in the scenes of when I was in Italy, the buildings all around was just orange. So a lot of people's skin tones were just going to turn orange. So that was the only time that I found the skin tones wasn't really pleasing, and shooting raw would have definitely helped. But everywhere else that, you know, the scene wasn't against me, like when we were in Santorini in Greece, the skin tones turned out really well, and I did like it. It was pleasing enough for any type of skin tone that I take photo of, because when I went out there with my friends, we all had different skin tones and it worked fairly well, in my opinion. And with this one, this is my favorite one, like I said, as of the moment. And I do suggest starting with this because it is very versatile. When I came back as well, I went on a YouTube set and I did this photo shoot for them. And I only took the Q3 with me, and I was surprised on how good it looked. And when I told you guys, first time when I shot with the Chrome, it did look digital. Here it's going to look very digital. The thing was with this is it was my plan on getting it to shoot that way. I wasn't trying to mimic any type of film, anything like that at all with this. And it was fairly well lit in there as well. And the skin tones turned out so well. The DJs that I took photos of really love all the photos that I took of them. And this is shot with the Leica Chrome, with the KEEM's Chrome. And I edited it just a little bit. And the lifted blacks, of course, I cleaned that up with the contrast. I wasn't really trying to go, like I said, for that film look. So that's why I did that with the edit. And it turned out so well. Like I said, they love it. And I didn't get no complaints about how it looks or whatever. They even posted it, of course, on their Instagram, and they really love it. If anything, they were asking me for the photos after I showed them how it looked, because it's already baked into it. So there wasn't really that much for me to edit much. After I showed them like 2 or 3 photos, they're like, yeah, definitely, please send me that when you can. And I did. But that is it for me. I'll be playing a lot more examples. Like I said, these are all straight out of cameras. The one I'm showing you, even the one, well, the only one that I did edit that I'm showing you was the one from the DJ set, because I believe I deleted all the ones already to that. But if I didn't, I might cut this out and everything is going to be all unedited. But that's all for me today, and I'll see you guys on the next one.